nicely? What about the first chapter? Who is the main character of that story? Yes, Tarun, isn't it? Is he happy or sad? Initially he was so sad, right? The whole family was pressurizing him because he failed in 2 subjects. How did he overcome his pent-up emotions? Or what did he do to release his mental pressure? He went for running, isn't it? In some way or the other, we also feel pressurized in some situations. At that moment, there are people who will go for meditation, some will listen to music, some will go for sleeping, etc. etc. If we didn't release this pressure, we will fall sick and we may collapse. So, we have to release this pressure in a healthy manner. Okay. So, here in today's class, we will discuss about the pressure in liquids. Okay. You have studied in 8th standard about liquid pressure, isn't it? You know, liquid pressure increases as depth increases. Can you give me an example for that? Yes, right. Dams are constructed with broader pits, isn't it? Okay, so shall we begin our today's class? Look at this picture. Have you seen this before? You might have seen this in construction site, isn't it? What do you call this? What? Yes, JCB. Isn't it? But it is not actually JCB, it is an excavator. Okay, it is an excavator. JCB is manufacturer's name. Okay, JCB is manufacturer's name. Do you like to know the expansion of JCB? JCB stands for Joseph Cyril Bamford. Okay, this is a manufacturer name. Have you ever noticed the working of this JCB or the excavator? That is, when the driver pushes the lever, there is a lever in front of that driver. So what he does is, he pushes the lever, and that time the heavy mechanical arms of the excavator begins to move. Okay, so in this video, we will be discussing about the working of an excavator or such devices. Before studying about the working of this excavator, let us do an experiment. Usually, I will be doing the experiment, isn't it? Today for a change, there is Arsha Ramesh with me to help me to do the experiment. Okay. Hello Arsha, how are you?
I am fine, teacher.
My dear children, look at Arsha. She's having a plastic bag with her. Okay, and that plastic bag is filled with water. Okay, now what she is going to do is, she is going to make some holes in the bag. Okay, let's see. What happens? What can you see? You can see water comes out through the holes, isn't it? Now Asha, just press at the top of that bag. Yes. Is there any difference you can see, Asha?
Yes, teacher. The force of water droplets from each holes has been increased.
When she pressed the top of that bag, what happened? She is applying pressure, isn't it? So, when she applied pressure at the top of the bag, what happens is the force of water from all the holes increases, isn't it? What may be the reason? That is, the pressure applied at the top gets transmitted throughout the liquid. Okay, because of that pressure, the water coming out through the holes increases. Is it clear? So, the pressure applied at a particular point, what happens? Gets transmitted throughout the liquid. That is what explained in Pascal's law. Okay. Pascal's law. You might have heard of Blaise Pascal, isn't it? And you have studied the unit of pressure is Pascal. In honor of that scientist, we are going to state this law, Pascal's law. Okay, so what is Pascal's law? That is, the pressure applied at any point of a liquid at rest in a closed system will be experienced equally at all parts of the liquid. Once again, the pressure applied at any point of a liquid at rest in a closed system will be experienced equally at all parts of the liquid. Okay, so in this experiment, when we apply pressure at the top, what happens? It gets equally distributed throughout the liquid. Okay, that is the reason why the level of water or the amount of water through each holes increases. Is it clear? So to know more about this or to make it clear, I am going to do one more experiment. Okay, look at this arrangement. There are 3 syringes attached to a bottle. Okay, and this bottle is filled with water. Okay, so what I am going to do is, I am going to press the top of that syringe. Okay, I am going to press the syringe which is kept at the top. Okay, so now see what happens to other syringes. Yes, what happens? When I apply the pressure at the top, what happens? It gets transmitted throughout the liquid and it pushes the other, and the water is filled in other 2 syringes. Is it clear? So here I am applying pressure at one point, but it gets transmitted throughout the liquid. Is it clear? Okay. There are certain devices that works on the basis of this Pascal's law. One is an excavator, we have studied, like hydraulic lift, hydraulic jack, hydraulic brake. In all these devices, Pascal's law is used. You might have seen hydraulic jack for lifting cars, especially in service stations, isn't it? There also we are using this Pascal's law. What happens? We can see the working of that hydraulic jack. Okay, look at this picture. There are 2 cylinders, isn't it, of different area of cross section. And these 2 cylinders are filled with water. Okay, let A1 be the area of cross section of the small cylinder and A2 be the area of cross section of the big cylinder. Okay, here the area of the 2 cylinders are different. Are F1. F1 by, what is the area of cross section of the small cylinder? A1. So, P1 is equal to F1 by A1. Okay, so what happens to that pressure? The pressure, according to Pascal's law, the pressure applied at that point gets transmitted throughout the liquid. Okay, and because of that, in the larger cylinder, what happens to the larger cylinder? Due to this pressure, larger cylinder rises up, and that is how the cars are lifted in the service stations. Okay, and how much is the force experienced at the larger cylinder? It is F2. Okay, and what is the area of cross section of the larger cylinder? It is A2. Okay, so can you tell me the pressure formed at the larger cylinder? We can denote that pressure as P2. Okay, so P2 is equal to, how much is the force formed at the larger cylinder? F2. F2 by A2. മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടോ? അതായത് പ്രഷർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഫോഴ്സ് ബൈ ഏരിയ ആണ്. അത് ഓൾറെഡി നിങ്ങൾ പഠിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഫോഴ്സ് ബൈ ഏരിയ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പറയാം നമുക്ക് ത്രസ്റ്റ് ബൈ ഏരിയ. അങ്ങനെയാണ് തോന്നുന്നില്ല പഠിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് ഈ സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡില്. ഓക്കെ, ത്രസ്റ്റ് ഈസ് അനദർ നെയിം ഫോർ ഫോഴ്സ്. ഓക്കെ, സോ ഇവിടെ ഈ സ്മോൾ സിലിണ്ടറില് ഫോഴ്സ് തന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. F1 ഫോഴ്സ് ആണ് നമ്മൾ അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അവിടുത്തെ ഏരിയ തന്നിട്ടുണ്ട് A1. അപ്പൊ എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കും? അവിടുത്തെ പ്രഷർ എത്രയായിരിക്കും? ഫോഴ്സ് ബൈ ഏരിയ പറയുമ്പോൾ F1 by A1. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പൊ ഈ സിലിണ്ടറിന് നമ്മൾ ഫോഴ്സ് കൊടുക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? അത് താഴത്തോട്ട് പോകും. സിലിണ്ടർ പ്രസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കും? പിസ്റ്റൺ പ്രസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അത് താഴത്തോട്ട് പോകും. അതേപോലെ ഇവിടെ എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കും പറഞ്ഞാൽ പ്രഷർ കൊണ്ടിട്ട് ഇത് താഴത്തോട്ട് പോകും. സോ വാട്ട് ഹാപ്പൻസ്? ഈ പ്രഷർ ട്രാൻസ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ആ ബിഗർ സിലിണ്ടറിൽ എത്തുമ്പോൾ ആ സിലിണ്ടറിന്റെ പിസ്റ്റൺ മുകളിലോട്ട്. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പൊ അത് മുകളിലോട്ട് പോകുമ്പോഴാണ് അതിലവിടെ വെച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന കാറ് ലിഫ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് പോവാൻ. മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടോ? അപ്പൊ അവിടെയുള്ള പ്രഷർ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അവിടെ ഏരിയ ഡിഫറെന്റ് ആണ്, ഫോഴ്സ് ഡിഫറെന്റ് ആണ്. സോ വി ക്യാൻ റൈറ്റ് ഇറ്റ് ആസ് P2 is equal to F2 by A2. But we know, according to Pascal's law, the pressure applied at a particular point gets transmitted throughout the liquid. That is, the pressure remains same. ഈ സ്മോൾ സിലിണ്ടറിന്റെ എത്രയാണോ പ്രഷർ അനുഭവപ്പെട്ടത് അതേ പ്രഷർ തന്നെയായിരിക്കും ആ ലാർജർ സിലിണ്ടറിലും അനുഭവപ്പെട്ടത്. മനസ്സിലാവുന്നോ? സോ വി ക്യാൻ റൈറ്റ് ആസ് P1 is equal to P2. Is it clear why we have written P1 is equal to P2? Because the pressure is same throughout the system. Okay, so what is P1? Just see here. What is P1? F1 by A1. So we can write F1 by A1 is equal to F2 by A2. Is it clear? So this is the formula for Pascal's law. From this we can find out any quantity. For example, you want to find out F2. Okay, how will you find out F2? F2 is equal to cross multiply. F1 A2 by F1 A2 by A1. Okay, like this way we can find out any quantity. Understood? So we will be having problems for doing regarding this formula. Are you following me? So before that, I want to ask you a question. Can you change the volume of a liquid in a closed system by applying pressure? It is a closed system. Okay, and you are applying pressure. Can you change the volume of the liquid? Okay, so let's see that. Okay, so what is my question? Can you change the volume of a liquid by applying pressure in a closed system? Okay, so what for that? I am taking a syringe which is filled with water. Okay, so what I am going to do is, I am going to close this end. Okay, I am going to close this end with my finger. And what I am going to do, I am going to apply the pressure. I am going to press this piston. See, am I able to do that? No, isn't it? Yeah? I am applying pressure here, but there is no change. I am not able to press it. What is the reason? Because it is a closed system. Okay, so we can tell the volume of a liquid cannot be changed by applying pressure according to Pascal's law. Okay, if this is a not closed system, I can press, isn't it? But since it is a closed system, what happens? The volume of a liquid cannot be changed by applying pressure. Is it clear? Okay. So, there's a homework for you. Look at this picture. Here, there are two syringes of equal diameter and it is connected by a pipe. Okay, and these two syringes and the pipe is filled with water. Okay, so look at the figure carefully and answer the following questions. Is it clear? So the first question is like, press slightly on the end X. What do you observe? I will give you that answer. Rest of the question you have to do alone. Okay. So what happens when you press at the end X? What will happen? Y moves up. Isn't it? So I have to bring the water level in both the syringes same. What should I do? അതായത് എന്താ പറയുന്നത് ഈ എൻഡ് എക്സിൽ പ്രസ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കും? Y ഓട്ടോമാറ്റിക്കലി മുകളിലോട്ട് നീങ്ങില്ല, ഇവിടെ പ്രഷർ കാരണം. ഇനി എനിക്ക് രണ്ടില് ഉള്ള വാട്ടർ ലെവൽ സെയിം ആക്കണം. സെയിം ആക്കണം എന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? ഞാൻ വൈയില് പ്രസ് ചെയ്യണം, അല്ലേ? അപ്പൊ അത് എങ്ങനെ പ്രസ് ചെയ്യണം, എത്ര എമൗണ്ട് ഫോഴ്സ് കൊടുക്കണം, അതിനെ പറ്റിയിട്ടൊക്കെയാണ് rest of the questions. Okay, so go through the questions and answer it. Is it clear? So, now we will do one problem. Okay, two tubes of different area of cross section filled with a liquid are connected. The area of cross section of small pipe is 0.0001256 meters square and that of large one is 0.020096 meters square. Okay, so different area of cross sections are given. Calculate the force experienced on the large piston if a force of 10 Newton is applied on the small piston. Okay, so many times I have told you, whenever you get a question, go through that question and write down what all things are given in that question. Okay, so here area of cross sections are given and the force applied on the small piston is also given. Okay, if a force of 10 Newton is applied on the small piston. Okay, so what all things are given? Tell me. A1. Okay, A1. How much? Small pipe. Okay, area of cross section of the small pipe they are representing by A1. A1 is equal to 0.000125 meters square. Is it clear? And that of the large one, we can denote it by A2. Okay, A2 represents the area of cross section of the large piston. How much is this? 0.020096 meter square. Okay, now what is remaining? 10 Newton force, isn't it? And that force is applied on which cylinder? Small piston. Okay, that force is applied on the small piston. So small piston means area is A1. So we can represent it as F1 is equal to 10 Newton. Okay, so we know according the pressure applied at a particular point is distributed throughout the system. That is, pressure is same. So here the pressure experienced at the small piston is equal to the pressure at the large one. Okay, so we know P1 is equal to P2. Okay, so what is the formula? P1 we know F1 by A1 is equal to F2 by A2. Here, which one you have to find out? Calculate the force experienced on the large piston. We have to find out F2. Okay, so how will you find out F2? We have to find out F2, so cross multiply. F2 is equal to F1 A2 by A1. Okay, so we can write it as. Okay, so look at the formula. F2 is equal to F1 A2 by A1. So now we can substitute the values. Okay, so what is F1? Let's see. It is 10 Newton. So 10 into A2. Let's say A2. Yes. 0.0096. Okay, divided by. What is A1? Yes, 0.001256. Okay, so what do you have to do? First, do this. Do you know how to remove the decimal point? Okay, so what is this? 0.020096. So if you want to remove it, how many digits are there after the decimal point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have to multiply with that much number. Okay, 1. Then you have to put how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. Okay, so the same way, remove the decimal point and do the division. Okay, and you can see you will be getting 16. Okay, try to do, don't use calculator. Is it clear? So, what is 10 into 60? 160 Newton. Newton. Clear? We are finding out the force. What is the unit of force? Unit of force is Newton. So, we got 160 Newton. So, how much force we have applied at F1? We are applying a force of 10 Newton. Since the area is more, force applied also increases. Okay, but the pressure is same. Is it clear? Hope you have understood about the Pascal's law and the formula and how to do the problems. Okay, go through the video if you have any doubts, and if you are having any doubts, you can contact me. Okay, so that's all for today. We'll see you in the next class.